So I'm going to lead this broadcast tonight with something different. Nobody else will do this, but it's a problem that I see affecting all of us and harming the country in a very big way. And that's a cancel culture. And this needs to be exposed. And the only way this is going to stop is for good American people, which I believe is a majority, to stand up against it. So what we're talking about here is primarily a due process denial. So I'm not going to bore you with a bunch of history, but I'll just give you 20 seconds. The reason that the colonists fought England and King George was because there was no due process here. You've heard no taxation without representation. Remember that, in school? Or what that meant was the colonists in America really didn't have any say about their lives. The king said, hey, you're going to do this or else. And the king could take away your property. He could take away your life. He could do whatever he wanted to do. America said, no, we don't want to live that way. So we're going to fight. And they did, 8 years. So if you read Killing England, you'll get the whole picture. But we fought primarily to have a sense of fairness and justice in this country. Now, the cancel culture is threatening that. And it's worse, far worse than you even know. So you'll remember that Simon & Schuster, the major publishing house, canceled Senator Josh Hawley's book because Hawley believed there was election fraud. That's why his book was canceled by Simon & Schuster, because of his belief that there was election fraud. Is Senator Hawley not entitled to that belief? Are you not entitled to it? Apparently, if you are Simon & Schuster, you're not. We're going to punish you if you hold that belief. Now, I'm not arguing Senator Hawley was right or wrong or what he was doing was correct politically. I'm not arguing any of that. I'm arguing he's an American. He has a right to his belief and not to be canceled, harmed by Simon & Schuster. The Paramount Network canceled the show Cops after the George Floyd incident. The whole show went. People lost jobs, and the show was successful. And all it did was portray the American police in real time. Gone. Paramount. Okay? We don't want it anymore. Just the other day, Lucasfilm, that's Disney, and Disney is the worst corporation in the cancel culture. And do you know what they're doing to the Muppets? I'll tell you in a little while. Disney's the worst of all of them. Just so you know, if you want to drop a couple of grand a day at Disney World, you might think about that. Okay, so Disney cancels this actress, Gina Carano. You've heard it. You've heard this story. I don't have to get into it. Now, Ms. Carano is an immature thinker. There's no doubt she is. You don't compare Nazi atrocities to the political climate in America. You can't do that. That's immature. That's what it is. And so many people lost loved ones in World War II and the Holocaust. And but it's not that she's malicious, Ms. Carano. She's just immature. Fired on the spot by Disney. And the Mandalorian actress, basically looking around, I don't think she even knows what happened to her. Canceled. Disney. Okay, so I could give you 500 more, but you get the picture. All right? Freedom of thought, expression, can lead to your personal destruction. And I'm not even getting into people who are accused of stuff. Because as soon as the media gets that, bang, page one. Bang, lead story on cable. And guess what? I didn't do it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You're gone. Now, the bad guys know that. Bad guys know it. But here's something very interesting. Both Joe Biden and Donald Trump were accused of misbehavior, personal misbehavior. Trump got blown up all over the place. Biden, no. Media tamped it down. Okay? So we live in a world where the cancel culture is now being used politically. But the corporations are behind it. They're behind it because they're boycotting, they're pulling sponsorship, they're doing just because of expression. And the far left progressive media knows that. So they can gin up anything and make up anything they want. Well, you say, well, okay, you could sue. If you're famous, you can't. Not in America. Can't. Because there's a threshold, a level that if you are a public figure, you don't have any rights. They can say whatever they want about you. Once in a while, a famous person will win a lawsuit. Costs them millions of dollars to do it. Clint Eastwood won one, I remember. But very, very rare. In Great Britain, you can't. They don't have that threshold, but not here. So there are celebrities who traffic in this, all right, in the cancel culture. Alyssa Milano, ridiculous. Jim Carrey, Rob Reiner, Chrissy Teigen. I don't even know what Chrissy Teigen does. Why is she famous? But anyway, they love this. And there are more, okay? And when they do it from now on, I'm going to tell you who they are and what they're doing. But these are just four that are always doing this crazy stuff, all right? Always trying to get people punished if they disagree with them. So when you have an essential part of this country, freedom of expression, freedom of thought, when you have that under fire, you got a problem. Because there are no politicians that I know fighting about this. Nobody introducing legislation in Congress. They should. They should. They're not. Why? They're afraid. Because nobody's perfect. Everybody has done bad stuff in their lives. And you know if you bring yourself up and fight these people, they're going to come after you. I've dealt with it for more than 20 years, every day. Okay? So we are looking at a country where our right to due process, which means you are innocent until proven guilty. See, in England, you weren't. If the king said you were guilty, you were guilty. Now, if the media says you're guilty, you're guilty. So the media has replaced King George.